Welcome to Pain in the Grass, the official Lawn Pride podcast, where we dig deep into the real problems hiding in your yard. From weeds to grubs to mystery brown spots, we've got the dirt. Let's grow better together.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We are here to take your sources, stack up the research, and deliver the fastest shortcut to being truly well-informed.
And today, we are tackling a problem that I think anyone with a lawn in North Carolina knows all too well.
Yes, those aggressive, just seemingly immortal weeds that pop up and turn a beautiful spring yard into, well, a patchy mess.
Almost like a case study in stealth gardening, isn't it?
Mm.
We're diving into North Carolina's biggest lawn nemesis, the winter annual weeds.
Right.
And here's the core frustrating irony. Our lovely, mild North Carolina winter isn't killing them.
No.
It's acting as their perfect, cozy incubator.
That's the mission right there. If you're like most people, you wait until, say, February, you see those little purple flowers and you reach for a spray bottle. But by then, you've already lost the war. We need to go beyond just weed killers. This deep dive is all about understanding the enemy's very specific life cycle, nailing the identification.
Yeah, knowing who you're fighting.
Knowing who you're fighting, and crucially, pinpointing the exact timing you need for prevention. We're turning a massive spring problem into a manageable fall task.
That time element is, well, it's everything. When the air temperatures dip just enough to signal winter, but, stay above freezing.
Which they do here.
They do, consistently.
Yeah.
That's the signal for these weeds to germinate and establish themselves.
Yeah.
They spend the entire winter just quietly building strength. They're putting down roots, storing energy.
Getting ready
to absolutely explode with flowers and seeds the minute late winter arrives.
Yeah.
And this all happens long before most people even realize there's a widespread issue.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with that core definition, because this calendar is key. Winter annuals, they follow a biological schedule that's completely different from other weeds you might be fighting.
It is.
And if you miss that critical window in their schedule, the weed doesn't just reappear next year, it comes back stronger.
Oh, in vastly greater numbers. They're ruthlessly punctual. The life cycle is short, but the consequences, they're long-lasting. So we need to track 4 distinct stages.
Okay.
And the first stage, the most important one for control, is germination. This happens in the fall.
When exactly in the fall?
Generally from early September all the way through the end of November.
See, that is the launch point, and it's why people miss it.
Exactly.
They're putting down roots when we're all still thinking about summer recovery or watching football or trying to find a pumpkin patch. The weeds are doing their work when the lawn is just, it's not top of mind.
Precisely. So once they germinate, they enter phase 2, which is this kind of slow burn of winter growth. That's usually December through February.
So they're just sitting there.
They're staying close to the ground. They almost look dormant, but they're not. They're strengthening their root systems. Then comes stage 3, the aggressive, explosive phase, flowering and seeding.
And that's when we all notice.
That's when you notice, February through April. And once that seeding starts, you are in trouble.
Which is why spring control feels so useless sometimes.
It is entirely frustrating because from a control perspective, it's too late. The final stage is the die-off. They complete their life cycle, they die by late spring, late April into May.
And they leave behind those ugly bare patches.
Those unmistakable yellowing or thin patches. And that cycle is the root of the problem. A post-emergent spray in the spring might kill the plant, you see.
Right.
But that weed has already done its job. It's produced and dropped seed, guaranteeing a return visit next fall.
So if I see Poa annua seeding out in my lawn in March, I'm not just fighting that one weed, I'm essentially fertilizing my lawn with the seeds for next year's infestation.
That's a perfect way to put it.
That's the crucial insight we have to carry. So let's talk about the NC factor. Why is this so specific to North Carolina?
It's a perfect storm of climate and geography. Obviously, the mild winter temperatures we talked about allow that continuous, slow growth. But a huge factor is our soil, the pervasive, heavy clay soils. This dense composition actually favors certain weeds that thrive in compacted conditions, especially annual bluegrass.
So the very ground we're trying to grow turf on is giving the advantage to the enemy.
Exactly. And the second part is just lawn vulnerability. If your turf suffers from summer stress, drought, heat, too much foot traffic,
It gets
thins out. And when fall arrives, Those thin areas are exposed, creating open real estate for these seeds to just germinate with no competition.
Yep.
Add to that the common tendency toward inconsistent timing of fall preventative measures.
And you've got a massive advantage for the weeds.
A massive advantage.
All right. We've mapped the life cycle, we've mapped the geography. Now we need to know who exactly we're fighting. You can't choose the right defense if you can't identify the enemy. Let's move into the identification guide.
We have to start with the heavy hitter, the one that causes the most stress, the most money in turf repair.
I think I know which one you mean.
Annual bluegrass or Poa annua. This is, without question, the most problematic winter weed across the entire state.
How do we spot it, especially if you have a fescue lawn that's already, a similar shade of green?
It's subtle at first. You want to look for a light, almost yellowish green color and a growth habit that's clumpy rather than spreading out neatly.
Okay.
But the absolute key identifying feature, even if you keep your lawn mowed perfectly, is the seed head. Poa annua is infamous for producing these visible white seed heads, even when it's cut really low.
Oh, right. You see them popping up.
You see them popping up in February or March. If you see those, you know you have Poa annua.
And like you said, its preference for compacted, moist clay soil makes it a nightmare if you haven't aerated.
It's looking for the weakest link in your lawn.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about the weeds that give your lawn that purple color in late winter.
The mint family.
The mint family duo. Henbit and purple deadnettle. They're the two that are most commonly confused.
I feel like I've mixed them up every single year. What is the dead giveaway?
Let's start with henbit. It grows upright, and if you pick a stem, you can feel its defining feature. It has a square stem.
A square stem?
Yeah, think of it like a little square Lego brick. If you roll it between your fingers, you'll feel the edges. It's not round. Henbit also tends to produce its little whorls of purple flowers a bit later in the winter.
The square stem? That's a great memory trick.
It's the easiest way. Now, contrast that with purple deadnettle. It's very similar, also very common, and it often blooms a bit earlier.
Okay.
While it has similar flowers, its clear differentiator is its leaves. The young upper leaves, right below the flower cluster, are distinctly purple tinted. If you see that dramatic purple color right at the top of the plant, you found the dead nettle.
Got it. Okay, moving low to the ground now, we have the mat formers, chickweed. These feel like they're actively trying to sneak under the radar.
They absolutely are. We have common chickweed and mouse-ear chickweed. Both are low-growing. They form these dense, spreading mats, and they love shaded, slightly damper areas.
And they have those tiny little white flowers.
Tiny white, star-like flowers. The crucial difference is texture. Mouse-ear chickweed has fuzzy, hairy leaves, which makes it feel a little stickier or softer, and it tends to spread a bit more slowly than its smoother common cousin.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, though. We have to talk about the weed that actively fights back.
Oh, yeah.
Hairy bittercress. This one is a genius of self-defense.
It is a remarkable piece of botanical engineering. So in the winter, it starts as a simple, unassuming rosette close to the ground.
Right.
Then in early spring, it produces small white flowers that turn into these long, thin seed pods.
And here comes the moment of truth.
Yes. When those seed pods dry out and are disturbed, and this is why mowing is so counterproductive, they explode. They propel seeds several feet away. It's an incredibly effective distribution method.
Wait, so I'm actually helping it spread just by trying to tidy up the lawn.
You mow over a patch, and you are literally launching next year's generation across your lawn. It guarantees the population returns, especially in those thin, exposed turf areas.
That is incredible. The lawn becomes a biological minefield.
It really does. That's why observation is so key before you reach for that mower in early spring.
Okay, before we pivot to prevention, let's briefly hit two other notable nuisances that make the North Carolina list.
Sure. We should definitely mention corn speedwell. It's another low-growing one, has these distinctive little blue flowers, and it also loves thin or compacted soil, often in the shade. It's a creeper.
And the other one.
And the final one is often introduced by accident, annual ryegrass.
Now, hold on. I thought ryegrass was something you sometimes seed on purpose. How does it become a weed?
Well, it's a very bright, green, aggressive, fast-growing grass that's sometimes included in cheaper or generic seed mixes as a temporary filler.
I see.
The problem is it grows in these distinct bunches, and its texture and color are often totally different from your established lawn. So when the rest of the lawn goes dormant in the cold, this bright green weed grass stands out like a sore thumb. It makes the whole lawn look patchy and uneven.
Okay, so we've identified the enemy. We've mapped their attack schedule, which starts in September, not February. Now for the most important part. The defense strategy.
Yes.
If prevention is always more effective than spring cleanup, how do we use that life cycle knowledge to our absolute advantage?
We have to pivot entirely from reactive cleanup to proactive defense. The critical takeaway here is that you are fighting next season's weeds this fall. The most effective defense is strategy 1. Fall pre-emergent applications. This is the non-negotiable step.
And what's that magic window again? And more importantly, why is that timing so essential?
The application has to happen between early September and early October. The why is a little technical, but it's vital. A pre-emergent herbicide doesn't kill plants that are already growing.
Right, it's pre-emergent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It creates a chemical barrier in the top layer of the soil. When a weed seed germinates and its first little root or shoot tries to grow, it hits this barrier. The chemical stops cell division, and the seedling dies before it ever breaks the surface.
So if you apply it too late...
If you apply it too late, the weed has already pushed its root past that chemical barrier and is safely established. You've missed your chance.
We're creating a microscopic shield that's only effective if we put it down before the launch sequence begins. That makes the September-October deadline incredibly high stakes.
It truly is.
Sure.
But chemicals are only one layer of defense. The best long-term strategy is strategy 2, maintaining dense, healthy turf.
Just crowding them out.
A thick, robust lawn physically crowds out the weeds. It denies those seeds the sunlight and the bare soil contact they need to even get started.
So what does that mean practically for a homeowner?
3 components are critical here. First, proper mowing height. Taller grass shades the soil, keeps it cooler, and makes it less hospitable for weed seeds.
Okay.
Second, balanced fertilization. Applied correctly in the fall, it helps the grass strengthen its root system and thicken up its canopy before winter.
And then the third.
And third, and this is vital for fighting annua, is core aeration. Aeration reduces that soil compaction we talked about, which eliminates the favorite habitat of so many of these winter annuals.
So we're actively destroying the conditions the weeds need to succeed in the first place.
We are changing the environment to favor the grass, not the weeds. And the third major strategy addresses moisture.
Right. Watering.
A lot of homeowners mismanage this in the cooler months. Strategy 3 is avoiding overwatering in the fall. Excess moisture, especially as temperatures cool, acts as a trigger for germination. The seeds sense the water in the cooling soil and they think, it's go time.
So people are keeping their summer irrigation schedules running too long into the fall.
Way too long. They're essentially giving the weeds a helping hand. You have to adjust those schedules downward as the season progresses.
Let's address the elephant in the room. What about the person who missed the window? It's March. Their lawn is full of these purple and light green patches. Can they salvage it?
They can manage the symptoms, but it's really a temporary fix. Yes, you can use post-emergent sprays to kill the visible weeds. But remember that crucial life cycle. The weeds have likely already dropped seed for next year. Plus, when those established weeds die off in late spring, what do they leave behind?
Dead, bare spots.
Exactly, which weakens the turf, opens it up to summer stress, and guarantees that next fall, more seeds will germinate in those exact same holes. You're just kicking the problem down the road.
It all comes full circle back to preparation. So the core takeaway for you, the listener, is simple. Winter annual weeds don't wait for winter. They start quietly in the fall. Success hinges entirely on executing that preventative strike between early September and early October. It is the single most important investment you can make for the next 12 months of your lawn's health.
And if we want to connect this to the bigger picture, the question isn't just about hitting that pre-emergent window. We should be thinking about long-term lawn resilience. Given that these weeds exploit thin turf caused by summer stress, this raises a really important question. What foundational soil health or watering practices do you need to address in June and July, way outside the typical weed control mindset, to naturally fortify the lawn?
So it's stronger going into the fall.
Exactly. If the weeds can't find an open, weak spot to land in the first place, the pre-emergent becomes your backup plan, not your only defense. It really forces us to adopt a year-round, holistic approach to soil improvement.
That is the ultimate deep dive thinking a full year ahead to ensure that next spring, your lawn is the fortress and those winter annuals never even get past the gates. Thank you for joining us as we explored the strategies for tackling North Carolina's most common lawn threat.
We hope this knowledge helps you time your next maintenance perfectly.
Thank you for listening to the Pain in the Grass podcast, sponsored by Lawn Pride of North Charlotte, Huntersville, your go-to name in turf care for homeowners and businesses seeking beauty, quality, and reliability. powered by family and fueled by passion. Until next time, make sure to take care of that pain in the grass.